Welcome to It's the Rose Show. Today, I have Jim Siverio. I hope I said that right, Jim.
Yes.
From All Corners Home Inspection. Jim has been doing inspections for like 25 years now, right? At
13
least
years, 13 years in inspections.
there you go. He does home improvements. He does all different types of inspections, from radon to the home inspection to termites, those little critters. Fun stuff. He does residential and commercial inspections as well. And I've been working with Jim for many years now. Wow, time just flies, right, Jim? Crazy.
Absolutely. It's probably
Absolutely flies.
been a while.
Um, yeah. So go ahead, tell everybody about yourself.
All right. Well, my name is Jim Siverio. My company name is All Corners Home Inspections. I've been the home inspector now for 13 years, and I've been in the home improvement industry for 25 years prior to doing home inspections. So I have
Wow.
that helps me out with the experience as doing a home inspection. Um, my company does inspections. I'm reading off my little cheat sheet here.
That's okay.
Um, we do inspections all over New Jersey, and the one good thing about our company is we do 7 days a week. So I have another home inspector with me who does Sundays and Mondays, and I do them as well. But whenever it comes to people need specialty items, we can do them 7 days a week. It really doesn't matter.
So, Jim, what made you? So, was this something that you always wanted to do when you were younger, or how did this come about to become a home inspector?
Oh, that's a good question. I wanted to be in construction. I really wanted to just enjoy the rest of my life being a contractor in New Jersey, a registered contractor in New Jersey. And I got hurt. And when you get hurt, you have to come up with a different plan for revenue. And the revenue was go to school to become a licensed home inspector. And that's what I did. I did it 13 years ago. And I absolutely don't regret it. It's something I enjoy. I truly enjoy going to work every day.
That's so. Listen, that is like the number one thing, right? In all jobs.
You have to enjoy it. If
When
you don't,
you're waking up in the morning, you have to enjoy what you're doing,
yes.
because life would be miserable if you're not enjoying it.
Yep.
Everybody should be enjoying what they're doing. So that's great that you absolutely enjoy that, because it's not easy. Not easy to be a home inspector.
No.
I have good friends of mine who are talking about wanting to be one. I have students all the time in my class that talk about it. What would you say to them? Like, so how long was the schooling?
Wow, it's been a long time ago. So, I did it during the summer. I did it in the fall into winter. So I think it took me about 4 months, and that back then when I did it, it was in person. Now everything is done through Zoom, which is a little bit different. So, and I don't know how long the class takes anymore through Zoom. But when I did it, it was fall through the winter, and my teacher was so adamant about this is your class, this is your time. It was Super Bowl Sunday, and he wouldn't let me go. He made me stay there the whole class till yeah. I didn't get home till like 6:30, 7 o'clock that night. Yeah, it was tough
Wow.
then. And it's just like you guys. You have to do CEUs, continuing education, every year.
So you
Um,
have to do that every year. How many continuing education classes do you have to do?
we have 40 CEUs every 2 years. So
Oh, wow.
you can legitimately get it done all in the last month should you choose to do that, but not me. I do them a little bit progressively during the course of the year. So this way it just makes my life simpler. I'm not scrambling at the end of the year trying to figure out what I missed and what I should have gotten and things like that. But yeah, it's a process. It's not as easy as everybody thinks it is. Let's put it that way. Everybody thinks you
That's
go.
the same thing with real estate, right? Everybody thinks they're going to get their license and make millions of dollars right away,
and,
right? But
and
there's
that
a process. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to
yeah,
get to that point when you have clients all the time, right? It's
and
a lot
that's
of work.
that's the reason like look, I say it all the time, and I know you hear it when we're doing an inspection. I'm a home inspector. I'm not a real estate agent. I stay in my lane because I don't know your end of the business is totally different than my end of the business.
Hmm.
I you guys are, well, we're all under the same, I guess, roof on legality, but
Right.
it's just so much different. I enjoy doing what I'm doing, and I stay there. I just enjoy
That,
it.
that's good. So talk to us a little bit about somebody calls you up, they want to have a home inspection done.
Okay, first.
And so we'll go from that. And what you think? Do you think it's better for a homeowner to get a home inspection before they list their property or after? You know,
Absolutely.
when the buyer has already went into contract and the buyer is getting their own inspector and
Well, look,
get their own inspections done.
everybody has pride in their own home, so everybody thinks their home is perfect. Look, I get it. Me too. I think my home is perfect, but I'm sure if a home inspector came into my home, there's got to be something that I missed because I'm very detail orientated. So the problem is every time I do something, I swear it's done right the first time and there's no mistakes and nobody's going to catch anything. But I'm
Mhm.
sure there's going to be something. But yeah, absolutely. When you're to me, sometimes I was in an attic this morning, so that's where the cover.
Oh,
Um, to me, that's one of the most important things is doing a pre-listing inspection. It gives you and it's never 100% foolproof, but it allows you the opportunity to for the seller to say to themselves, okay, am I going to fix it? Am I not going to fix it? Is it going to come up later on? Is it something that I should add into the contract? And again, you guys have your own contracts, but is it something that I should add into the contract? There's different there's definitely different ways to look at it, and I'm a proponent of let's do the pre-listing inspection. Let's try to find the bulk of the problems that we can get today, and then you know what? When the buyer comes in and hires his own home inspector, you potentially are going to find other items. It's potential. I mean, everybody has different set of eyes.
so in a way, I mean, number one, it gives it gives the seller, right, a little more detail of what the buyer can possibly find when they
Correct.
get the home inspection done. So I guess it would help them to price the house correctly, number
Mhm.
one, to make any adjustments that they need to make to fix the house. But they have to remember, especially here in the state of New Jersey, no matter what it is, even if it's fixed, it must be disclosed. It has to be disclosed to the
Mhm.
buyer anyway, right? And I know a lot of sellers try to hide that after they fix something, but they don't realize there is a 6 year statute of limitation. And if that buyer finds out, which listen, how easily does it come out, right? You're at the neighborhood barbecue, you just bought the house down the street. Let's say it was Mark's house, right? You're in the neighborhood barbecue, and all of a sudden, everybody's laughing, having a great time. And Joe turns around to Sandy and says, "Hey, do you remember that time Mark's washing machine overflowed and we were there till like 12 o'clock at night, bucketing
Clean.
out all the water? We drank the whole entire bottle of Jack Daniels. Then we jumped in the pool. Oh my God, that was so much fun." And you go,
Absolutely. Yeah.
"Wait a minute,
It all
Mark's
came out later
house,
on. Yep.
right? Look how easy, right? It could come out just like that." Well, they have 6 years to go after Mark for not saying anything if that's the case, right? And they don't realize they can be sued if they try to hide it. You know, we try to tell them all the time it has to be disclosed.
I'm a big proponent when I'm doing an inspection. I just think, even for me, like I just went through it, just doing some inspections, had nothing to do with real estate, but just going through inspections on some renovations that I had to take care of, that I had to complete.
Mm,
And the bottom line is, I'm always upfront and honest. Look, I'll just let you know now. So this way, if there's a problem, I want to know about it today. I don't want it coming back to me later.
right.
And I think honesty is the best policy. And I know that there's no uh, regulation on filling out the forms, the disclosure forms.
Yeah, in
People,
New Jersey, it's not mandatory.
and that's the
But
crazy part about it.
yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy. But, the agent, the professional, should definitely advise the seller how important it is for them to fill it out because it's going to protect them because the buyer needs to review it, okay,
Yeah.
and sign it. And so if they have that, that's a piece of ammunition if the buyer comes to try to sue later on because they did fill out that seller's disclosure.
And people don't. And,
I know.
a lot of people just sit there and say, I don't know anything. And they do know, but I
Right.
don't know anything. And bottom line is when you say you don't know anything, you're admitting to guilt right then and there. Just come clean. It's, it's,
Right.
it's easier to be honest about it up front. I did an inspection yesterday, and
Hmm.
the seller was very forthcoming. I mean, he showed me he showed the client, actually he showed the buyer some of the things that he knew was wrong, but it was done. And it just, the buyer became a little bit, he was like, I can't believe that, the windows don't work.
Hmm.
um, but it, the seller came clean. He explained it to him, and it just made things so much easier. It really did.
Right.
There was
Right.
no hiding anything. And then when I was doing the inspection with the buyer, it was not with the buyer. If I had any questions, and normally I don't like when sellers are at the inspection, but this guy, he was honest about everything. If I asked him a question, he answered it for me. He wasn't beating around the bush. It
Hmm.
made life easy, and I think the inspection went well. But
That's
that's
great. That's great. So, what are the most important things that you would tell a seller to do before that home inspection?
Well, number one, do a pre-listing inspection. That's number one.
Hmm.
Check all the make how old is the roof. To pop your head into the attic, to look to see if there's any roof leaks. Look to see if any shingles are actually missing on the roof. Those are immediate indicators that there's a potential problem. And at that point, that's where the home inspector comes in. And sometimes, it's our job to let our clients know about what's going on. And sometimes it just seems like we take it to the ultimate end. I may not agree with it at all times, but it's part of the industry. It's unfortunate, but it's part of the industry.
Right.
Um, all your ground faults, make sure they're working. The ground faults are the GFCI protectors that are next around water, which is your bathrooms, your kitchens, your garage, outside your home, anything where there's where water is obvious or it's normal on a regular basis. You should have everything ground fault protected. Those are one of the big ones that comes up all the time for me. Um, I'll give you a big one that comes up almost every day while I'm doing an inspection. It's the AC condenser outside. It says right outside what the manufacturer size breaker. The manufacturer says maximum size breaker right on there. It's stamped right on there. And what happens is people get the air conditioning units changed, and when they get the air conditioning units changed, it's right on the bottom of their contract that says we're not licensed electricians, so we're not going to touch anything in
Oh,
your
wow.
electrical. So,
Mhm.
and it says consult with a licensed electrician after we're done and have it matched, have it sized properly. Well, yesterday's inspection, again, I can't use names or anything like that, but yesterday's inspection, the maximum size breaker on the AC condenser was 20, and the breaker size in the panel was 40. So
Sure.
there's a big difference right there.
Mhm.
And the seller said, he goes, I never touched that. He goes, that's the way I bought the house. I mean, he's only been there for like 3 or 4 years, but that's the way I bought the house. I'm just surprised it wasn't pointed out back then. I really am. When he bought
Wow.
it years ago. I don't know if he got an inspection. For all I know, he could have paid cash, and if he paid cash, he didn't get an inspection, and I don't know that.
Hmm.
But as far as he's concerned, he didn't touch anything. So I'm like, all right, well, I don't know what to tell you. I can just tell you it
Right.
doesn't. It's not. That's all I can tell you is it's not right. And
So,
then
what would be some tips that you would tell the buyer to make sure? I know you say all the time that, if a garage is packed with stuff, you're not going to be moving any.
you know what? That's a major big one.
Uh-huh.
When we come do an inspection, if I can't see it, I can't die. I can't write anything about it except for the fact that I couldn't inspect the walls in the garage.
Right.
Everybody, look, it's normal. Everybody has everything packed into the garage, and they have everything packed off to the side so they can walk into the garage. And if you can't see anything, I can't say. it's just a crazy part of the business. It would be a great idea if somebody was selling a home, and I'm into fantasy land here. It would be a great idea if people were selling a home and they were able to take everything on the perimeter of the garage. I'm trying to use the square that I'm in the thing. Okay, if they would take everything that they had in the room and they would just put it towards the middle, or move everything away from the wall, or move things away from the bottom of the wall so I can see inside and behind there. And that's really what we're looking for. For me as a termite inspector as well, I'm looking for shelter tubes, and that's a perfect place for me to find them. And half the time you can't see them anyway.
So what exactly is a shelter tube? Tell everyone.
Well, a shelter tube is a termite. It's a tunnel where the termites actually crawl through. And a lot of times you find them on the block there, and I know they're not like working through block wall, but you'll find it on the concrete block. They just work their way up, and they'll come in from the ground. There might be a gap, an expansion joint. Here's your slab, and then here's your wall. And then what they do is they'll just crawl up through there, and then they'll make it to the sill plate. From the sill plate, then they get into the substrate and the studs and the wall, so on and so forth. But that's their travel point, and you can see it. It looks like dirt. I don't know any other way,
Really?
but it looks like dirt. In my opinion, it looks like dirt, and it's just
So,
lines.
right. So we know like New Jersey is like the hot spot for termites, right?
Major, major.
Like New York is for cockroaches, they say, right?
Yes, and water bugs in New York.
And water bugs. Right. Oh, God, I remember in my house growing up, I'd go do the laundry downstairs and there would be one like that big. I'm like, ah. Like,
I
I could
I,
still have nightmares of those
I
things.
grew up in New York too,
Oh my
and
God.
yeah, and oh my God, you'd open
Oh
up,
my God. They
go into
catch
the
you so
closet,
off
and
guard.
a water bug or something would go, whoosh, and you're like, holy, scare the crap out of me. Yeah, I'm glad I
Woo!
don't.
I know. I'm so happy those days are gone.
I am so glad I don't deal with it.
Right?
I keep
So,
looking down because my four-legged daughter is between my legs looking at me.
oh, how cute.
She's
So,
she,
how often do you think that sellers should they get a contract for term? I mean, what is
absolutely,
the
absolutely.
percentage of each home getting hit with termites?
Um, well, here's part of the problem. Part of the problem is everybody thinks on a real estate transaction, the if you're getting a mortgage, the seller needs to have what's called a clean cert. It's an NMPA 33 form. I hope I said that right for all those that might. Um, so what happens is they take, and then when they're getting when they buy the home, it usually gets done before they move in, and then oops, we all forget about it, and we never get anything done after that. Now they
Mm,
go to sell the house, 5 years later. Chemicals, depending on what chemical you use, which I'm under the impression I don't do applications, but I'm under the impression that one of the better chemicals is Thermador, and usually that's about 2 or 3 years that the chemical works. It's still active. So what happens is they're selling the house 5 years later. Oh yeah, we had the house treated. Okay, I walk up. First thing I find is patch drill holes on the outside. Okay, when was the house treated? Oh, we had it treated when we moved in. Okay, when did you move in? Now these are questions that I ask. Oh, they
right.
did it about 5 or 6 years ago. Okay, well, I'm still going to do a termite inspection, but if you look at the second page, page 2, paragraph 2, it states that if the house has been treated and there's no paperwork at the inspection, now mind you, that's the NMPA 33 form. If there's no paperwork at the inspection, you have to fail it because the seller
Oh,
has to provide. That's yeah. So the seller has to either get somebody that's willing to give them a 1-year warranty that's transferable, or what they have to do is they have to have the house treated again, and this becomes a big. Attorneys hate it, and I understand it, but I'm doing what I'm told, and I'm doing it the right way, the legal way. It
right.
says paragraph 2, page 2, paragraph 2, which states if there's any evidence of termite treatment and there's no paperwork there, house has to be retreated unless they can prove otherwise. And that becomes one of an argument sometimes, but kind of is what it is. All I do is just tell them, look at page 2, paragraph 2, and I've fulfilled my obligation on that end of it.
Right. Right. So, what are some of the crazy stories you could tell everybody about being a home inspector?
Um, oh, I'll give you one that has scarred me for life.
Okay.
I'll give you two that have scarred me for life. Some
Okay.
guys, some guys do it and some guys don't. When I first got into the business, I wanted to, to do the right thing, eager beaver, and I wanted to make sure everything was done correct. I started a washer and dryer, and in our contract it says that that's one of the exclusions. We don't have to test washers and dryers. We just have to look for any evidence of water leaking, drainage issues and things like that. But we physically don't have to start a washer and a dryer. Oh, wow, I got two. Oh, I got another one. Okay, we physically don't have to start washers and dryers. So what I did was, and it was in I think my first or second year, I started running the washing machine, and while running the washing machine, it didn't empty.
Mm.
I'm like, okay, now what do I do? So the lady, the seller, happened to be home. She comes running out and she says to me, "Oh my God, I forgot to tell you it doesn't work." And I'm like, "Okay, now what do I do?" She says she comes out of the kitchen with a Solo cup, a red Solo cup, and says, "Wow, yeah."
Oh
Yeah, I mean, there are ways. I mean, I could have, siphoned it out and all that kind of stuff. But she came out with a red Solo cup and she said, "Just got to make sure all the water's gone before you leave." So that's one of the things I do not test is washers and dryers. I don't have to and I don't do it. There are home inspectors out there that are still willing to do it. And God bless them. I'm just not.
Mhm.
Um, but I'll give you one that was funny.
Okay.
I did an inspection on a house and I'm doing the inspection and we always run the dishwasher. Not a
Mhm.
problem. If I find dishes in the dishwasher, I'm like, why should I run the dishwasher and not put not put dishwashing detergent in there? Because
Mhm.
you know what? If I'm going to run it and waste the water, why waste the
I
water?
will clean them.
I might as well clean the. And I used to leave a little
Right.
note. I used to leave a little note on this, and just so you know, the home inspector did do the did run your dishes, did clean your dishes with using dish detergent. Not a problem.
Yes, you don't have to call the cleaning lady.
Well, wait a minute. So what happened was I'm running the dishwasher and all of a sudden the real estate agent comes running out. Oh my God, there's water and suds all over the place. And I'm going, what the?
Um,
And I'm trying to think like, what happened? What happened? What happened? Now my heart's racing. I'm upset with myself. What did I do wrong? And okay, so I leave a note for the seller. I'm sorry. Thank God it was tile flooring. So I was just down there with towels. I was cleaning it up. I was upset, and
mhm.
he calls me the following day, and he says, "Hey, this is so and so from this particular address. You did a home inspection at my house yesterday." I said, "Yes, I did," and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh, here we go." Like he's going to sue me. I did some damage. He says, "I just want you to know it wasn't your fault. The suds and stuff." And I said, "Oh,
Oh.
may I ask why?" He said, "Yeah, my daughter and I had a fight the night before. She was pissed at me. She changed my dishwashing soap with laundry detergent."
No, she didn't.
And I took a
Oh.
scoop. It said right on it, dishwashing detergent. And you know how the old days they had and I'm trying to do this.
Oh my goodness.
You get a scoopful. Now you have pods. So I put a scoop of it in there, and I was using laundry detergent. It was all over the place.
Oh
Suds.
my
It
goodness.
just it was mean and nasty. I mean, I was taking a bucket full of water, throwing it in the dishwasher, trying to get all the suds down. Like, what did I do wrong? Is it broken? Is this something else that I should worry about? He called me up the following day to tell me. He goes, and I
That's
apologize.
nice for him.
Yeah, he says, I know it created a lot of havoc in your morning, but and I'm sorry, but it was my daughter that did that to me. She was pissed at me, thinking I was going to do the dishes. Yeah, that happened. Yeah, that was one. Just
What about critters? Any crazy critter
okay.
stories?
I have two of them, and they still give me nightmares. Um, and yeah, they still give me nightmares. I did an inspection over in Cream Ridge one day, and as I'm doing, I did the inspection in Cream Ridge, and they said to me, the oil tank company said to me, "Be careful because I saw a bunch of snake skins down in the basement. Big snake. I mean, big snake skins, big ones."
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, all right, as long as they're not around, it's not a big deal, And I'm thinking to myself, there can't be any snakes in now because it was all full. It was snake skins. There was probably 3, 4, and 5 foot snake skins
In the basement.
in the basement.
Wow.
So you go from the basement to the crawl space from in the house. So I pop my head in with my flashlight and I'm looking around just trying to make sure what's going on. I look to the right and there's 5 or 6 snakes.
Oh my.
And they're active. I mean,
Oh.
they're active. Look, they were garden snakes, but you know what? I'm looking at it as number one. If they decide they want to bite, it hurts.
Right.
They may not kill me, but it still hurts.
Right.
And I can't protect my. What am I going to wear? Armor when I'm down there? So that was one, and that's has scarred me because I know it sounds silly, but that scarred me. And then another one was I was in Brick. The agent. The agent opened up the door and she had to go to Dunkin' Donuts to go get coffee. So I'm doing the inspection and it's time to go into the crawl space. I'm like, all right, no problem. I go into the crawl space and I'm checking for termites and I bring a long screwdriver down there so I can start poking at the wood. All of a sudden I poke at the wood and out of the corner of my eye I see something run and I'm going, okay, all right. Didn't know what it was, but I was kind of still okay with it. So now I'm poking again, and I hear something, and I'm going, uh-oh. I kept doing the inspection, and as I made my turn, because I always go in and start on the left and work my way around. It's just easy. For me, it works out that way. And as I go around, there's a bunch of babies, raccoons.
Oh my goodness. You got lucky.
And Mommy was right behind me. Mommy was right there.
Oh my goodness.
So the exit of the crawl space was here. Literally 5 feet away was Mommy staring me down.
Oh my.
And I have a screwdriver, but I'm like I don't know what to do. Even if I make a phone call, who do I call? 911, call the police department, call the fire department. By that time it could be over with. So I just waited it out. It seemed like an hour, I'll admit to that. But I was probably there for about another 3 to 5 minutes just staring, we were just staring at each other. And then finally,
wow.
Yeah, finally I just said, you know what, I got to go for it. And I get bit. I just got to go. And I took off. I army crawled the whole way out of the crawl space. It was probably about 2,000 square foot home. So I was on the other side. I army crawled my way out and Mommy, I guess, ran behind me and went back to the babies. And
you got lucky because usually they say that they really
they go bonkers.
Yeah. Wow.
And I closed the door because now I'm nervous. I'm scared. And I wrote that. I put in my report. Inspector. Refuses to go into the crawl space. Live active raccoon. Blase blase. So the seller sent a pest control company that does animal control. Came back, and then he trapped the raccoon. She was big. Wow. She was big. It wasn't small. It was big. And they got, I think, five or six babies.
Aww.
I was like, you know what? And they relocate, which I don't care what they did. I'm being honest. Bottom line is, those are two that have, if I'm in a crawl space now and I can't hear the people upstairs walking around, because if I hear them walking around, I know they're there. I can always, take my screwdriver and put it on the bottom of the floor just so I can get somebody's attention, what's going on. Yeah, those are the two that really.
Wow. Really, and what about radon? You do radon inspections too, right?
Yes, radon testing, not inspections. Radon
testing. I'm sorry. Yes.
No. Yes.
So tell them a little bit about radon, because a lot of people don't really understand what that's all about.
Radon is the breakup of uranium that's in the ground. It's predominantly found in rocky, stonier areas, and I always say from Jackson northwest is usually my go-to. Really should do radon testing. Mm-hmm. It's an odorless gas. It's the most common. It's the highest rate of lung cancer in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Supposedly, it actually comes through the Earth's surface, right? And it attaches to the dust particles that you inhale. Yeah.
Yes, and it's dangerous.
And causes
Um,
radiation. Yeah.
4.0 picocuries per liter is what the limit is in the state of New Jersey. I'm actually doing another radon class next the 27th because the guidelines for radon is changing.
Oh.
So this is a whole nother, and I don't want to talk about it because I know what's going on, but I'm not 100% sure. And until I get true information, I don't want to talk about it. But there are some changes being made, which is going to make it more difficult for us as the inspector tester, and for the real estate agent. It's going to become a little more difficult.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, that's the 27th. But radon is all over. It's all over. And don't let anybody tell you because you have a crawl space you don't have radon. It depends on ventilation. You could have a crawl space if you have no ventilation whatsoever in the crawl space. Where are the gases going to go? Right through the subflooring, right through the flooring, right through the cracks, right through the gaps, any place. You have pipes coming through the floor. The gases can travel through it, and they get into the house. Um, so I
And
found. Go ahead.
yeah, it's also against the law for anybody to tamper with that, right? While you're testing.
Yeah. Yes. I've heard of people. What they do is I won't
Oh,
talk about it, but yes, people YouTube how to get around it, and they do it. And sometimes you know what, they get caught, and I'll tell you why. Because when I drop the can, and that's how I do my radon testing. When I drop the can, I take a picture of it. So I have a picture. It's timestamped, date and time, exactly how it sat, where it was, where it was on the paper,
smart. That's smart.
and all I can say is some people tamper with it, and they get caught. And I've had two people actually tamper with it that I know of, that I documented. I can't prove it, but I could show the picture of the way it was when I left it, and I could show the picture of the way it was when I picked it up.
Mhm.
And the bottom line is, you can tell it's been played with.
Right.
So yeah, people do it, and it is, it's yeah. I don't know any other way to put it, but yes, they do tamper with it. They do play with it.
So
So
Jim, for someone to contact you, so you could be their home inspector, give them the information.
okay. Well, I'm going to put this in this. Oh, um, the information is, you can look up All Corners Home Inspections.
Hmm.
My cell number, I'll give you my cell in office. My cell number is 732-921-9741. And my office number is 732-279-3380. And if somebody wanted to email me for information, it's pretty simple. If it's All Corners Home Inspections, it's ACH inspections, plural, at gmail.com. And that's how you can get a hold of me. And I mean, I have a young lady that works with me as my office manager, and she does all my office stuff. And she's here during the day, so she can answer all the questions. Pricing is different, depends on square footage. I don't charge where, but I charge on square footage, and it all goes, it goes up from there. It's got a tier. And then
Awesome.
the adult communities is a little different. I try to give the seniors a little bit of a discount. I also do try to give military a discount, military and police, first responders. But it depends. I can't take it depends on where it is, but I do try.
If you want a great home inspector, definitely contact Jim from All Corners Home Inspection. What do you know, Jim? It's time to go.
All right.
It's the
Thank you
end
very
of the road show. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for coming on the show. Really, really appreciate it. Definitely try to stay cool in this hot weather while you're doing your inspections. I know.
Yes, it was hot yesterday. It was brutal yesterday.
Yeah,
Brutal.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
All
Well,
right. Thank you very much. And I
yes,
truly
thank you,
appreciate it.
everybody. You got it. I'll see everybody else. Stay tuned for next Friday at 4 o'clock. It's the Rose Show. See you then.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
You got